I'm going to talk to you guys about, about real estate in general. Okay, we've been doing this business for a long time. You got in the business to, what's up, Chris? We got in the business to be able to learn more in this, get better at your craft, get better at your skills, get better at helping people, right? Because that's what everybody wants. You want to help more people. Obviously, the commission checks that you guys do receive is a big thing as well because you're doing the business to make money. So, and this here, to me, this is kind of what I've kind of followed for the last 10, 11, 12 years. Become a real estate entrepreneur, okay? That has so many labels to it. There's so many definitions that this comes with because we're in the business, okay? We're going to help a lot of people. But is it just helping people, or is it also helping people and then having setting your family, for the future? Because that's what we want to do. Okay, we didn't get in the business just to go make commission checks and have a job, did we? I don't think so. I mean, at least I didn't, and I kind of stumbled upon it after one good conversation I had or experience with this one investor. And I'm going to talk to you guys about this right now. So let's get started. Let's see here. Oh, perfect. All right, so my introduction here, guys. My name's Omar Alfaro. If you guys don't know who I am, I've been in the business for a really long time, 17 plus years. Actually, this month will be 18 years. So that's pretty cool. November of 2002. So thank you. And a lot has changed. And everybody sees success now. Like, oh, yeah, it happened relatively quickly. But if you think about it, it really didn't. I mean, 17 years over a course of a lot of trial and error and a lot of money lost. Okay, I will tell you that. But you just got to keep moving in this business. Okay, so 17 years in the business. I've helped people buy, sell, invest, and now I'm helping people educate on how to invest in real estate. So I'm going to talk to you guys about this. In the very beginning, all of us start as a buyer's agent. Okay? So if we start as a buyer's agent, we want to help more buyers, in their homes, correct? So initially, I wanted to become a really good buyer's agent. That's all I cared about, is to help more people, put people in houses and give them keys. So that's how I started. I wanted to master that aspect of it. Once I did, obviously I kept all their phone numbers, kept all their addresses, and over time, they still remembered me. So then I started becoming more of a listing agent because obviously they called me to sell their properties. So obviously that's what you want to do. You want to sell their properties. So then slowly, as you become better at listing, you start seeing and creating opportunities to invest in real estate. Because I've had a lot of mentors tell me that the fastest way to get $1 million is to invest in real estate, period. The most wealthiest people started their journey in real estate. Most millionaires are in real estate. Stocks as well too, but for the most part, we're in the real estate game. So I want you guys to remember this. And now, obviously, because I've been doing it so long, I want to help as many people as possible to reinvest their earnings in real estate. So, and I keep saying that because we're all real estate professionals. We're all real estate entrepreneurs. We're helping a lot of sellers and buyers, okay? And we're making commission checks. So it's the commission check that will lead into other things. And I'm going to explain that to you guys here in a few. Okay, so I've sold over 1,000 properties in my career. Okay, so you guys know how long I've been in the business. I've flipped over 100 houses year to date, a little bit more than that, but roughly. But this is the part where I want us to share with you guys is if you guys see in a bill, I want you, after this presentation, after this sharing of some of my knowledge, I want you guys to see what's possible when you're at a listing appointment, where you're at when you talk to a seller or even potentially a buyer because they might have a property to sell, okay? So this here, I didn't know about it. I just hooked up with one person, okay? His name was John. Thank you very much, John. You didn't know you were teaching me something, but I appreciate it. And I don't talk to him anymore because he was a investor. And in the very beginning of this market shift in 2008 or 9, things got a little different. Obviously, the market was super high in 2006 and 7. Okay. Then you started seeing that recession in 2008. And this one investor, I remember, he called me and he said, listen, I want to buy a house. Okay, cool. And mind you, I wasn't an investor yet. I had one home, which was my personal home, but that's it. So he said, I want to buy a house, fix it, and flip it, and you can get the listing when you turn around and resell it. I said, okay, great. So excited, whatever the case. It took him 2 times, or took me 2 times to see what was possible. He bought the house from me, $100K. I made $2,500 on the commission, right? The commission rate was 2.5%. And at that time, things were really, really low. So he bought it at that price. He literally just put lipstick on a pig, as they say. They just throw new carpet, paint, very minimal stuff. And then he turned around and he told me to list it for $150,000, $155,000. And we had multiple offers, right? And then I'm sitting here like, wow, he bought it for $100, put a little bit of money in it. And the next thing you know, he has a huge chunk of profit. What got me is that I saw the HUD-1. Back then it was a HUD-1. Now it's the estimated closing statement. And literally I saw $42,000, $43,000, and I made $2,500. And I'm like, okay, cool. But then I made obviously another listing commission, which was dope. We're all in the business, and I'm sure we can all relate because we want that investor, right, to get us commission checks. We want more commission checks. So in this case, he did it once. Then I found him another property. And I saw that HUD again, and I'm like, there's something wrong here. I'm doing all this work for him, okay, and he's profiting $100,000 on 2 transactions. And me, the realtor, not knowing what I know now, but that realtor that just wanted to make commission checks, I only made what? $12,000? Something like that? $12,000. I was super happy because obviously the market was down and it was just another transaction. But he right there shared with me or taught me something without him knowing that I'm going to be what he's doing. Okay? And this was in 2009. So now, mind you, there was a lot of properties for sale, a ton of bank-owned homes that needed a ton of work. Okay? So I took that avenue and I said, listen, now I'm going to be that investor. I didn't know how. I had no money. Remember, I had no money when I was doing this. I just knew that I could find a way to capitalize on that property and then find money. There's tons of people, hard money loans, whatever the case. We'll explain that to you later. But because of that, I've been able to now increase my business. It's one stream of income, okay? I'm not telling anyone here on this call to stop listing property whatsoever, stop buying or stop helping buyers go find houses, because that will feed everything in your journey, okay? So because of that, I've now been able to see opportunities. And now I own a ton of real estate, 27 doors, regardless of how I got them, but 27 doors, technically, I receive rents from every single month. And because of that, it's led me to now start expanding my mind on what else is possible. And remember, real estate is a long journey. It's not overnight. And most people want instant gratification. Everybody wants instant gratification. But what people don't tell you is that when you start buying these properties, and you will, trust me, everybody on this call will. Eventually they will, a year from now, 6 months from now, I can help you guys with that as well. But this is the thing I'm going to tell you. Are you willing to do things that people aren't willing to do to get results that people aren't willing to get, or that they don't get? Because these doors that I purchased a long time ago, I had no money and I put hard money loans at 12% and 15% down, 20% down at the time. I took all of my commission checks from representing buyers and sellers, that this is the business that we're in. I took that money and I put that down as down payments. I didn't care about positive cash flow because I knew of appreciation. Because I knew that when you're buying something at $30, $40, $50 a square foot, it's going to end up being $100, $150, $200 a square foot, because trends are that way. And if you saw in 2005 and 6, You saw that increase, but then did you see before in 1997, 98, it was at the bottom of the market. So I saw what could potentially happen. Did I really know? No. Was it a little bit of luck? Yes. But I did something that most people aren't willing to do. I ate beans and rice for a really long time because I couldn't, if 2 or 3 people did not make that rental payment, I would have to come up with it. But I will tell you, when you put yourself in a situation, in a pressure situation, are you going to fold or are you going to go make it happen? So because of that pressure, I wanted to go help more buyers, more sellers, regular residential real estate, okay, or commercial, whatever the case is. Because it puts you in a different perspective on what is possible. You're like, I know that I'm going to do something later. This is going to be cool. Okay, so now that I have the 27 doors, I now obviously want to increase my portfolio. And this is where being creative comes in and being the entrepreneur in this business. Okay, so now all of this does not happen unless you find the ability to provide more solutions for your sellers. Okay, we go on a bunch of appointments, but how many times do you think you have a conversation and I'm sure you guys will be able to share as well that a seller tells you a few things. They tell you, hey, listen, I want to sell quickly. I want to do this and I want to do that, but you're not paying attention because you have the real estate mindset of only being a listing agent. Okay. So these are different avenues. Again, I'm not telling you to stop. I'm telling you to add, to create more. Okay. So now once we've established, because I'm going to get straight into it now. Once we established an appointment, okay, we're making a bunch of calls. And I'm going to tell you something too about these calls. I see a lot of people posting that they have 80 contacts, 100 contacts, 150 contacts, whatever the case is. Don't focus on the contacts. Focus on better quality conversations. Okay? Because when that does happen, so much more possibilities occur. Okay? So once you're at the appointment, how are you going to be able to provide more solutions? Okay? And before anything does happen, I'm going to share with you guys right now, before anything does happen, you have 2 avenues when you're at an appointment. And I want to, hold on a second. Oh, man. Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys. Hold on right here. Okay. I can't see the chat on this. Hold on. Can you guys, shoot.
When someone types something, you can put the chat button on.
Yeah, but there's nothing there. It's okay. All right. Well, I'll have to check it out.
What if you follow your mouse on the big screen?
Yeah, maybe. But okay. No, I'll get to it. So, sorry guys. So how do you provide more solutions? Obviously, you're at the appointment, and what I want to hear is, hold on. Okay. You have 2 avenues when you're at the appointment. And that's getting a listing agreement signed, right? That's what we all want. But imagine if you don't get the agreement signed, you just wasted an hour, right? Hour and a half of your time. Hopefully your follow-up is good. And if your follow-up's great, then you'll probably get in front of that seller again, okay? So you need the signature regardless, because that's where everything can happen, okay? So what I want you guys to focus on is the listing agent mindset versus an investor / entrepreneur mindset. Because if you're bringing a bunch of value and solutions to a seller, you're going to have more of an opportunity to create something for yourself and for that seller, to give you that great review because you came through for that person. And it's not just about listing their home, okay? I want to make sure that you guys know that. It's not about just listing their house. It's about finding a solution for their situation. And it may not even be listing their home. It may not be buying it either. It might be something totally different. Maybe they just want some advice. But if you do give them that, they're going to remember you down the road. Trust me, because it happens, and it happens to me a lot because I listen to people. Okay? So, once you're there at the appointment, you guys already know what you guys need to do. You guys find their motivation. You got to find their when, where, and their why. Like, why are they selling? When do they want to sell? And where are they moving to? Providing it's their home and they're moving, or if it's an investor that wants to dump their property because they're over, COVID hit, this pandemic hit, and then they don't, there's a tenants in their property for 9-10 months, paying zero. Okay? Because that does happen. Knock on wood, I only had a couple people that did not pay because of whatever situation they said they got. So it's all good. Let me see. So this is key. I want to see the chat because I want to make sure that I add more stuff in there, and I want to have you guys as well. Let me see. Yeah, see, I don't know how to do this at all.
Hey Omar, whenever you share your screen, it won't let you see it. So have somebody next to you call out the question if there's questions.
Oh, okay, please, yeah, somebody else. And I don't know why it's not doing that. Oh well.
When you screen share, it hides the chat box.
Oh, got it. Okay. Cool, no problem. Okay, guys, so sorry. Some technical difficulties, no big deal. So I'm going to ask you guys in here, anybody has questions, shout it out. And I want some more participation as well, because I want to go through this process, and it's super important for everyone to know what's happening. Okay? So, listing agent mindset versus investor/entrepreneur mindset. Okay, when, where, why, you're going to find out their motivation, because that's super key. That will dictate which avenue to go. Okay? That will dictate which avenue to take them down. Remember, you're leading this client. You're leading this owner, this seller, this emotional person about their property. Whether it's get me out of here or give me the most money possible. Okay? You obviously are going to walk through the property. You're going to see the condition of the house. This is a huge factor. This is the key factor. Because you know as a professional that if you walk in a house that is just in shambles, needs a bunch of freaking repairs, it's not very financeable, but they think it is because, remember, they're emotional. They're there at the house. So this is where you have to pick that up. Okay? Location. Obviously, the desirability of the property or of the location. If you know that this house is going to sell quickly because of the location, and you're able to know what it's going to sell for versus what you're going to buy it for, or potentially list it, either way, then you know exactly, because you guys are all professionals. You guys know the market. So this is perfect for all of us that are in this business, is that we know the market. So if we buy something a little cheaper, you know that there is a profit margin. And I will tell you this, commission checks will pay your bills, but creating profits establish wealth, because then you can use that money into other things. And that's literally what I did. I took all my commission checks and established them into more profits into more properties, and properties appreciate over time. Okay, it's a long journey. Remember that. Price point of the property is key as well, because this part here you guys should know. Okay, condition, location, price point. Those three factors right there, that's what sells real estate. Location, condition, and the price point of the home. You guys know this. I'm just reiterating it because I want you guys to see it. Okay? Okay, so when to list versus when to potentially buy. Okay, these are the factors that I'm going to go through right now on what you guys should be listening to. Okay? Key factors for listing versus buying. Listing indicators. This is super huge. Okay? And I want you guys to chat in the group here. What kind of listing indicators do you normally hear from sellers? Okay, here's a few I'll give you. Obviously, they want to capitalize on the market. Right? You let me know yeah. Capitalize on the market. You guys go ahead and share what you guys hear from sellers. They want top dollar, right? They want the most money possible in this market. They want to upgrade. They want to downsize. We hear that a lot. Okay, so these are the factors. That's literally what most people say. I'm not in a hurry to sell. And then especially right now, out of state. Like, I want to move out of state. Don't know why, but yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, being here in California, paying 60-some%, I don't think so. So most people are going to want to leave because they want to save more money. But it's okay. We're right here ready for them to sell their house or buy it. Now, that's going to be the different factor now. Buying it as well. Create wealth. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who the top is. It doesn't matter in regards to the presidential aspect of it, because you control your destiny. You're able to do what you need to do for your sellers and for your family. They're not going to write you a check and pay for, the next year or two for you to live, are they? I mean, hopefully not, because then we're going to be all screwed. But so they're not in a hurry to sell. Baby boomers. And I'm going to talk about baby boomers right now because they're 55 years old, 60 years old, okay? They want to sell that 2-story house. They're empty nesters. They're done. Do you really think they want to go up and down the stairs if they're 60, 70 years old? No, probably not. They want that 1-story house. So some of these listing indicators here, guys, are, to get the listing. But not necessarily, like, once you start establishing their motivation, these change. Okay? These are the purchase indicators. People want to sell quickly. They need money. Okay? They're behind on a bunch of payments. This here is something that you guys should know in the prequel. Who are you talking to? And that's something that, like, most of us, I'm just going to go show up to a listing appointment. Cool. You're going to show up unprepared. And I'm hopeful that you guys truly go through a listing prequel. Ask all the questions up front, because that gives you your ammunition. It gives you the ability to find a better solution for them. Like I think it was, I think Oscar said it, we're real estate advisors. So we advise them on, on an avenue of where to take their next chapter. Meaning they're selling their home, meaning you're buying them. Who knows what they're going through. So that's super key, okay? So these indicators, I want to make sure that you guys know, and you start listening to that seller, and they start, because I guarantee you, if you didn't know about the investor entrepreneur mindset, and you're only focusing on listings, that's all you're going to get is a bunch of listings, which, by the way, is not bad, okay? But as long as you use that money for something else to reinvest, so your money can work for you, okay? Because if you don't find a way to find an avenue where you make money while you sleep, you're always going to keep working for commissions. And I'm not talking about LA, Hollywood, people make commission checks for $1 million or 800K, 700K. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about our normal market. Our median home price right now obviously is $300,000 in our area. Down in Rancho, probably $450, $600. Downey, probably in that same $650, $700K range, right? And in Palmdale, they're just like us, because we have a bunch of Joshua trees and we're the desert, so $300K, it's about right. So behind on payments, I want you guys to really go through that aspect of it, and it's all public record. Find out if they make their payments or not, because now you have a motivation. You have a motivated seller. That's what's key, especially in this purchase side of it. Okay, house needs some work. No money, again, obviously, for the repairs. Because think about it, you're going to list a house that needs a bunch of work. They won't qualify for FHA. Well, maybe right now you could probably list it really quickly and it would sell because some investor will go buy it. And you can make your commission check, but the investor is going to keep it for a good chunk, probably make $100,000, in a course of 5, 4 years, 3 years, whatever. Or maybe he's going to flip it and make 60 grand. So 60,000, you make a $10,000 check. Cool. If you're okay with that, and granted, don't get hung up on figuring out how much money you don't have. Notice I didn't say how much money you have. Don't get hung up on how much money that you don't have, because when you can automatically see this here, listing indicators versus purchase indicators, and you know that you can provide something for this seller. Right now, go on Google, hard money loans. How many hard money loans are out there at a decent rate? I just told you how I did it. I was paying 12% with like 4 points at the time. Crazy. Right now, it's about 2 points, maybe 8%, 9% or so. So it hasn't fluctuated that much, but there's companies out there that if you put more money down, you're able to decrease that interest rate and decrease the points that you pay. But remember, guys, this isn't an aspect of long-term, because you don't want to have a long-term hard money loan. Like obviously, Oscar shared with us a little while ago the stuff that he went through. It's difficult. You have to have all your ducks in a row. People don't talk to you about the refinancing after the fact. Sure, you buy the house, then what? Because then you have to have that exit strategy. I didn't have that exit strategy because I wanted to hold these properties. I didn't care about the 12%. But mind you, it was only a $100,000 house, $80,000 houses, $150,000 houses. So I was able to just, in case something happened, I would have to go, wait more tables or go try to get more tips or help other people in this real estate game to get more commissions to pay that mortgage. Okay? So don't get caught up on what you don't have. Figure out a way to get the money, because you can. Because I will tell you one thing right now. If I told you you need to go get $50,000 in 15 days, and at the end of that 15 days, you're going to have a brand new Lambo. Well, everybody is going to want to go find that 50K, aren't they? Because why? Because a Lambo is worth about $300,000. So you see value in that, don't you? Of course you do. So everybody's going to find a way to get 50 grand. I don't care. You're going to sell stuff. It does not matter. You will find a way. Now, most people won't find a way to come up with 50K if it's not instant gratification. They're going to, no, I'm not. I'm going to spend it on something else. But if I told you that you can spend 50K and in 10 years you're going to make, and I'm not going to say 10 years, I'm going to say like 7 years, because I don't know where the market will go, and I don't have a crystal ball. But if you understand that real estate's in the long journey, then that 50K could turn into $400,000. But most people don't see the 400. They just get caught up if I don't have 50K. So remember that while you're getting your $20,000 commission checks, $15,000 commission checks. And in our area and in Jose's area, we only get like, $8,000 commission checks, sometimes 10. If we get a $10,000 check, that was freaking awesome. Like that, it feels good, right? So there's a question. Hold on, sorry guys, I don't see it. I'm just I got the keynote up.
How many years were you in the business when you started investing?
What's that?
How many years were you in the business when you started investing?
Okay, so the question is, how many years have I been in the business before I started investing? This was 11 years ago. So 2009. Okay, I got licensed in 2008. I was in the business just being a normal realtor. Okay, my highest year was like $75,000. And that was that first 6 years. First couple years, I made 20, 30 grand, 40 grand. But truly started investing and figuring it out is when the market crashed, because I knew it was going to go back up sometime. I didn't know how soon, but granted, I did gamble a little bit. and I put myself in an uncomfortable situation to be able to grow. Okay, and we talk about this all the time, is that when you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, you're either going to fold or you're going to figure it out and you're going to grow. This is why I'm so passionate about increasing commitments, because then your income will grow. And I'll show you guys what I have over my my door. Okay, if you guys can see that right there. When your commitment grows, your income will grow. And why? Because it makes you another person. It develops you. That or you're going to just go hide in a little corner and pretend life's not coming at you. So it's up to you.
Question. Hello?
What's that?
Sorry.
So the question is, how do I structure a purchase? That's good, because we're going to be discussing that as well. What's the next one?
Where can we find sellers that are behind on mortgage payments?
Perfect. They asked, where can we find sellers that are behind on mortgage payments? And you know what? That's your title company. But I'm going to go through all of that. So if all the questions you guys have, you guys will have my contact info, and then I can help you guys through that as well, okay? So we'll finish this because there's a bunch of people that want to get through this, and I'm on a time limit. So, no repairs or no money for repairs, obviously. Again, baby boomers, because these people want to sell their house. They want to get out of Cali. They want to move to Arizona. They want to move to Texas. They want to move other places because they're done with California, whatever the case. They want to go to a retirement community. So what if I told you guys are being listing agents right now. If I said, listen, there's going to be a buyer or there's going to be a seller that wants to sell their property, and you have a property in a 55 or older, okay? What if you could tell that seller, hey, listen, maybe we don't even have to go on the market. I can buy your house to ensure that you're going to get another house here in the 55 or older community. So this unique selling proposition has worked very well for myself and the team, because now everybody says it. And it's a topic of conversation. I will share that with you. I didn't put it in the keynote, but I do this on every transaction. Your home sold, or I'll buy it. Key factors, bam. Okay. So the very last part obviously was baby boomers, okay? On the purchase indicators. Because these people need to sell. So the main reason we're trying to find out is just their motivation. You know, it's really as simple as that, okay? So we're going to go to the next slide right now. So they're moving out of California. Everything's cool. So do you guys have that covered? Listing indicators versus purchase indicators. Okay? Remember that. I guarantee you now, when you talk to a seller, you're going to start understanding both. And then you're going to know what to do when you get those indicators sent to you. Okay? So I will take one question.
Should you invest in properties with bad tenants?
Okay, so the question was, should I invest in property with bad tenants? Well, I'm not going to say all tenants are bad. I mean, are you asking, and to this person who asked the question, are you asking because they didn't pay? Is that a bad tenant? Or did they destroy the house? I mean, there's a lot of factors there. So it depends on what you're going to be buying the property for. That's huge. If it's worth $300,000 and you're buying it at $200,000, cool. I'll deal with the tenant. Because of right now the moratorium on evictions kind of slows things down a little bit, but this is where you can go pay a tenant to leave. Have you guys thought about that? Give them $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and then they leave. And now that puts you at $93,000 in positive. Cost you $7,000. But now you have $93,000 of potential, not profit, but value. Because now you have to factor in how much money you're going to put into the property. Okay? So I hope that answered your question.
He said thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, what to bring at the listing appointment and or buying appointment. Okay? Are you going to be prepared? This is super key. Out of all this that I just shared with you guys, I want to have you guys really focus on this aspect of it, okay? Because this is key. You gotta, I will tell you something. we hear a lot of information, okay? A ton. And how much of the information that you hear from the lead coaches, from mentors that you have, from people that do the business and they do well at it, do you truly pay attention to them and just write down for the sake of writing down in your notebook or putting it on your notes on your phone? Because you put it on your phone, you won't see it no more. And you will forget because you'll go back to being comfortable. So when I say that you need to be prepared at an appointment, it's because your skills got to be there. We've been in this business, that you're in the business to learn, but you're also in the business to understand what people want. And then when you understand what people want, then you can provide a solution for them. Okay, that's super key. But now you guys are going to start hearing about like, oh, I know this. This is what that guy Omar said. Yeah, look for that. Look for this. Because trust me, when I tell you this, you will open your mind because of it. And when I say skills and experience, if you don't have the experience right now, it's okay because you just started. You're a year in, you're 2 years in. But this stuff wasn't around for me 17 years ago. Heck no. I had to figure it out. Tons of trial and error. So right now, information is so available to you everywhere. But because it is available to you everywhere, you don't know what to write down. You don't know what to implement. You don't know what to execute on. Because it's so much. So when I tell you to bring skills, that means practice your craft. Take the notes, write it down, but implement. Execute. I can talk to 100 people and maybe 5 or 6 people might actually execute. Why? Because that's just the way it is. 5% of people will actually do what lead coaches tell you to do, what your mentors tell you to do, what any kind of coach tells you to do. Trust me, and I'm right there with you, because this is one thing I'll tell you. If 95% of people aren't implementing, that listen, they're not implementing anything, right? So you really think that you need to implement or execute at 100% of what you heard and what you learned? No. If you execute at 10%, forget about it, 5%, guess what? You're 5% better than the rest. And if you're at 10% because you want to do a little more, badass. You're going to have much more success. I don't say that I'm a great executioner of what I've learned, but I just go and do it and figure it out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because think about it, 20%. If you're at a 20% conversion rate of what you learned and you implement 25% or 20%, you're that much better. I'm not going to say better. You're just that much more skilled than the next person that doesn't implement or execute on what they've learned. Okay? So take all of this and understand it and then use it the next time that you're at an appointment. And if you don't get it, it doesn't matter. You know why? Because you're that much closer to the person that's going to say yes. How many times I've been at an appointment? Tons. I can't count how many listing appointments and or buying appointments I've been at. And did I get signatures every time? No. I probably got signatures 30% of the time. You know, if I'm trying to buy something. That's 70% failure. But because most people don't even try, it shows up as much more of successful, if that makes sense. Okay? So skills and experience. I want you guys to bring 2 contracts to the appointment. Okay, well, what 2 contracts? Well, you guys know one of them. The listing agreement. You're there to help them sell their property. Okay? And if you're there to sell their property, you have a one-track mind. You're the entrepreneur now. You are the advisor, like Oscar said. You are there to provide more solutions for that seller. Okay? The one-page contract is super key. And I call it a one-page contract because honestly, and for anybody that's out there that does flip houses and that that has bought in investment homes, you can literally buy a house on a napkin. Okay? You don't need a one-page contract, I'm telling you. But it's professional, it looks better, all that good stuff. I bought in a couple houses on a napkin, and I'd taken it to escrow, and escrow opened, because all it is terms. That's all it is. It's terms on what the deal is structured for. Who the seller is, who the buyer is, etc., and what you're buying it for. And it's funny because I still have that piece of paper. I still have that little napkin that I bought a house at Bar 2 in our parents' restaurant. A napkin. So people overcomplicate things when they don't need to. So the one-page contract, and for you guys especially being on this call right now, and I want to share with you guys what I do and what I use for the one-page contract, okay? And that contract, if you guys go to omaralfaro.com/contract, and I'm giving it away there for you guys for free, okay? So you guys know how to structure your next deal. At least it's so simple. You're going to have two contracts: the RLA, which is a residential listing agreement, or vacant land listing agreement, whatever the case, because you can still buy land, or if it's commercial, you can technically still buy commercial if it makes sense. Especially right now in this pandemic, there's a lot of vacancies. So remember, it's the person who can create opportunities when people recede. So think of everything that you're going through right now, or what other people are going through, as an opportunity. Because that's literally the name of the game. Not just about your commission check. It's way past that. But still use it to elevate your bank account, to have more capital, so then you can reinvest it. I tell you this because I did it, and I'm doing it still. It's not just about the listing agreement. Ever. Okay? So, my goal is to be able to help you guys see and expand your mind, obviously, to see what's possible in this business. Remember, I was making $30,000, $40,000 a year 1 through 7. It's the time. It's called, I hope everybody's read The Compound Effect, for sure, right? It's compounding over so many years to be able to finally become successful. And success is measured however you want it to be measured. Okay, in this case, I was just a realtor that bought a house at 24 years old. That's it. And I wanted to help more sellers, so all I wanted to do was find more sellers to get commissions on and buyers to get commissions. That's it, because I had no money. So this is where a lot of us are at right now. But even if you're not there, if you're already super successful and you're doing 30, 40 transactions, badass. But what are you doing with the money that you're making? That's the difference. Because that money is not going to grow if it just sits in your account. And I see, trust me, I've been through I've spent a lot of money. I've lost a ton of money. But in this business, you will start seeing what's possible. If you truly take your commission checks and master it. Master the ability to go help sellers and to go help buyers. Because hey, if you're a buyer's agent and you got that shit down packed, awesome. Badass. Because it's still a commission check. It's still money that you're receiving to help your family grow. Take a portion of it and reinvest it. There's a lot of avenues, a lot of shiny objects to reinvest in here and here and here. Get good at your business first. Practice your scripts, your dialogues, learn the business, and then you're going to start seeing different possibilities out there. Trust me, you will. Okay? And questions? I'm going to go to a couple questions here, guys. I think I'm right on time
We
here.
got one right here. Is it a good time to buy investment properties?
It's always a great time to buy investment properties. Always. And it depends. I say depends because it's how you're going to buy it. If you got a bunch of money, then make sure you know what you're doing and what you're buying it for. You guys are all realtors out there, and whoever's joining on the call, you know how to buy something because you know what the value is. So that's key, yes. So to answer your question, yes, it's always a good time to buy. period. Okay, because am I going to tell you retail? No, don't buy retail, obviously, because if you're trying to flip that house or create passive income, because right now it's super tight. Because if you're only going to get $100 or $200 of positive cash flow, granted, that's $100 or $200 in positive cash flow, but the minute the market changes and you don't have enough money, that means in your normal income, that means in your normal career of helping sellers and buyers, you're going to have to come up with that mortgage payment. And if that tenant doesn't pay, you're going to be, in a world of hurt. Maybe not for the first couple months, 3 months, because you're going to have some savings. But I'm telling you, it will happen because it's happened. Go ahead. I have Mervet right here, so go ahead, Mervet.
Okay, Omar, what would you say is the ideal amount for a positive cash flow?
Okay, so she asked I'm not sure if you can hear her, but she asked, what's the specific amount or a good amount for positive cash flow? Well, that depends on how much cash you have, and that depends on the deal. Now, if it's $1 million and you're making $500 in positive cash flow, it's not a good deal because it's just too tight. Now, in our market, we're at $300,000. Now, $500 in positive cash flow is decent, right? $500, but how much of it are you coming in with? How much repairs are behind that house? If you're $70,000 in and you're making $500 a month of positive cash flow, so you're not even making 10%, which granted, 10% is still good because your savings account is going to give you 0.01. So hope that answers your question. We're going to go one more question.
Do you use a certain formula to determine a good property when flipping?
Of course. And I'll be able to share that, guys. I want you guys to get my contact. If you guys don't know how to get a hold of me, you can reach me on IG or just call me, 760-559-9945. Give you guys my cell phone number so you guys can message me or we can establish, I can help you guys for sure. So, guys, my goal is to help you guys expand your mind, obviously, to see what's possible. And remember, this is key. The person who talks the most in a presentation ends up losing. So make sure you listen and pay attention for those key indicators when you go through your pre-qual, because that's just going to be the difference that you see in your business. So many times I've been on an appointment and I let them talk. I ask them the pertinent questions and then they start just throwing up on you. They tell you everything. So then you can decipher which way to go. I mean, it's that simple. Just be more prepared when you're talking to people on what to say after. And with your scripts and your dialogue and your practicing and everything else comes into play because it makes you better. It makes you handle the objections. Remember, objections are not like, oh my God, I'm going to leave now. No, it's just a little jab. You're going to lose a fight over a jab? No. And in this case, this fight could potentially be $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. Trust me, it's happened. I went on a listing appointment a couple weeks ago. I ended up buying it, and it's potentially going to be a $60,000 or $70,000 profit margin. And it took me an hour because I listened and I paid attention. It's not about the commission check. It's about what you can provide for your sellers. Okay? And I got one more thing. All this information, obviously, you guys can't do anything. And I love this quote because I use it all the time. And execution trumps knowledge every day of the week. Remember I told you that earlier about the people, the person that doesn't execute. If they don't execute on something, then the person that execute 5% will still beat them. They can learn it all, they can know all of the information, but if they don't apply it, if they don't implement it, and if they don't execute on it, then sorry. That's the difference between the successful person and the one that doesn't, that just is a webinar junkie or whatever you want to call it. They go a bunch of seminars, but they don't do anything. And they don't learn. They learn, but they don't implement. So execution trumps knowledge every day of the week. I want you guys to remember that, and hopefully all this helped.